morning. Anu is back on the wall, as you guys can see.
Greetings to all. Greetings to all. I am here, back on the wall. You know.
Huh. Right. So the conversation, I want to change using the word topic and use conversation, because you know we're talking to the people in Kung Fu.
All right. Makes sense.
So the conversation of today is freedom. You hear the word I use, right?
Freedom.
You know, you have a lot of us say we're free.
Right. Or we accept freedom.
But what really is freedom? What you think freedom is?
Wow. Okay, freedom. The word freedom, you know, we know free meaning that, you know, the ability to move or to operate without any form of restriction, without any form of answering or reporting really to anybody by force, you know. And so this is what, when we talk about, when you use the word to free. But you know, when we put these two words together, freedom, you know, it plays a little trick with the words, you know, freedom. And you know, we plenty of us, we glad, yeah, we get freedom, we have freedom, you know, but we didn't really take time to analyze that term freedom, you know. And it was one of the greatest error that was made by we accepting freedom, right? Because when we say we freedom, you know, and you put free and then you bring dumb and you bring it together, we would find, you'll see free and you get dumb. But we also know that dumb, when you call somebody dumb, it means that a person that have no sense or senseless or don't have a clue of what really going on. So then, in other words, what we are saying, we are free, but we really don't really have any sense or knowledge in the terms of what really and truly is to be free, you know. But we free dumb, right? And instead of be fighting for freedom, we should have been fighting for equal rights and justice, right? Because once equal rights and justice, you know, according to this reggae artist Peter Tosh, you know, that, you know, he doesn't want freedom, he wants, you know, equal rights and justice. And when they find a person want equal rights and justice, it means that he can be free to go wherever he wishes to go. He can be free to dine wherever he wishes to go, because he would be treated with a great level of equality, and he would have balanced justice, and it wouldn't be one-sided or off the chart or off the record. You know, it wouldn't be like he have to be accepted or in a way that because of he have a particular color or skin or in a particular category where wealth is concerned, you know, to able to dine certain places and things. You know, they tell us freedom, and with this freedom that they sold to us, or they make, you know, we give them their freedom, right? That we give unto them, but yet there is restrictions. So then, how free really are we? You know, especially, you know, the people and them from the African lineage, you know, especially people who under the poverty line and these things, where these people cannot fit into any particular places, you know, they're very skeptical. You know, back in the 70s, in the 60s, in the 70s, you know, where they made African people free, or they give them freedom, but yet they were limited to go certain places. They were limited to use particular toilets. They were limited to go to certain restaurants and bars and going to certain stores and all these sort of things. Right? So then, how is that being free?
Right.
You know, how is that being free when you cannot enjoy the pleasure, or you cannot enjoy the happiness that others are enjoying? You know, so how could you characterize that as being free? But with freedom, but we have freedom, right? So we didn't fully understand what they consider to be free, because when back in these days we fight to be free, you know, it was under the expectation that we would have been liberated and we would have been able to go wherever we please or wherever is comforted. Even in this present time that we are living in, there are certain restrictions for certain type of people. You know, whether it be your class, your wealth, or even worse yet, your color, that you are not accepted. So then in true terms of being free, you're not really free. Right? And so there are times that, for example, you may tell yourself, who, me? I'm free. You know, I'm free. I is a free person. But the question is, how free are you? Right? Because the way how the system developed under colonialism is to ensure that we have freedom. But yet, the way how they structure the whole system is based on an imprisonment system. The way how they structure the schooling, you know, the way how they will structure the level of how they socialize, or how they want you to start to serve God or pray to God. You know, they put in a particular bracket, you know, so that you're not free to operate as you should or as you want. They say that you have schooling, but the schooling is it not even self-teaching you the things that you really need to know. It's not teaching you the things that would be relevant to you as an individual, so that you can grow and that you can expand. You know, the way how the whole system designed or created is to always to have people, once they haven't reached that stage of understanding, or we haven't reached that stage of consciousness, to be in prison. But not how the way how we look at it in this physical aspect, that we don't have chains, we don't have shackles, you know, there isn't a person with a gun or some sort of weapon that have we against our will directly, but you know, they get into us mentally. And once you are not truly free mentally, then there is no way one can call or state that, you know, hey, yo, I accept freedom. You know, so the way how the whole of everything was designed, the way how everything was created, it really was designed and created to, you know, keep us in prison. Right? They sell us freedom, but you know, actually we when we look at it, you know, we're more dumb than we're free. You know, because we are being fooled, we are being lied to, we are even being tricked. You know, so when we speak about freedom, you know, there's a lot of things that we allow ourselves to be in prison with. But just because we are not seeing the physical imprisonment, with chain and chuckles and all these sort of things, we tell ourselves that, you know, we truly accept freedom. But as I'm saying, how could we be free if there are still limitations? If they are still restricting information from us to help us to grow or to become a better individual. How that is free, you know? So they have us, or they channel a particular technique and a style of training, you know, that forces us to think and feel a better way, you know. So for example, you would know when somebody reached that stage of being free, which is a mental, you know, freedom. It really starts as a mental thing before it even come physical. Because once you're in that stage of freeness mentally, you could be wherever you are. You know, they cannot change because your spirit is free. Right. You know, for example, we go to the beach, or we see pictures with people on the beach and stuff like that, and you know, we will observe a fat man, you know, walking on the seashore, walking along the sand or wherever the case may be, and this fat man will be bareback, and probably he you know, boxers or bathing trunk or short pants, but he bareback. And you know, he chest up high, and the sun beating on his chest and beating in his face, and he comfortable in his space, and he comfortable in the way how he is, you know, he comfortable, you know, and it have other brothers who would not do that, right? Because they believe that they need to be or look a particular way in order to get likes and preferences and all these kind of things, but they are not truly free, right? We would see an oversized woman, if you were to say extra weight, if you were to say heavy, if you were to say solid, if you were to use obese, if you were to use fat, you know, and we would see this woman and she have on a two-piece, you know, or a bikini, however you want to call it. And she proudly walk
with a head held high,
you know, on the beach with her head held high, excuse me, above, you know, everything, and she walking proud. And there are plenty of us who looked at her, and you know, we would laugh, we would frown at her, we would even discriminate her, right? You know, and it are plenty of people who go say, oh gosh, who commented acceptance, oh gosh boy, she real brave boy, you know, how she could just walk, you see, like that, you know, and she fat and thing, and then they start now to measure her and measure themselves. You know, if she could do that, mean as fat as she is, you know, I could do that too. You know, and that is because when we think like that and we look like that, that is because we are not free. Right? We are still bounded mentally. Right? We are still jailed mentally. You know, because not because a person have millions of dollars or thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars, or a person have a castle or a mansion, you know, or he have planes, he have cars, he had jeep, you know, he have wealth. It doesn't mean that that person is free, right? These things cannot buy your freeness. It cannot. It just means that you're in a position that you could afford certain things, you know. But once you're trying to, or you living a life to try to please people because you're concerned. And when I say please people, I'm not talking about pleasing people in the sense to make somebody happy and comfortable. that sort of pleasing. I'm talking about pleasing people to get acceptance. So from the time you live in a life and you want approval from a next man or a next woman, you know, to be accepted within a particular circle, you know, or a particular ring or a particular cabal, you know, a particular group, you become a prison. You become a prisoner, you know, and you place yourself in this prisoner because you are not free. You are not truly you, and you're standing and you're there and you are trying to look for approval from others. And if to whatever they consider to be a pass or a fail, then you fit in. So you know, would always try to look for approval from these individuals or this circle, just to appear or to feel that, hey, you know what, boy, I really and truly are fitting. But you're not really free, because once you live in a life where you would try to make other people accept you for what they perceive to be wealthy or to have a proper physique and stuff like that, you still living in a mental slavery. You really haven't reached the stage of being free. You know, a next example, sometimes you're in a relationship, you know, we're in a relationship, and we being in this relationship, we are not happy, you know, but due to circumstances, whatever the circumstances may be, we are there, you know, but we are not free, because, you know, we cannot really be our true self, you know. So we in this relationship now, and we just only living to get approval from this spouse or from our spouse, you know. So we have a certain expectation, and we try to live up to this particular expectation that does not make you who you are. And so what we don't realize now, we becomes this person prisoner, because we are not free of our own doings. We are not free of our own action, even though it may appear to be free, because, you know, he don't tell me I can't go no way, he don't tell me I can't this and that, but it doesn't mean you are free. You know, it just simply means that you have freedom, that you can go here and there. But once your mind not in that place of comfortness, you're not in that place of relaxation, you know, you're not in that space that you know what, I don't need to do this and to do that to get his or her approval, or for this individual or for that individual to like me or to accept me. You know, you're not in that place, because true friends will accept you for who and what you are. True friends. It doesn't matter. You know, sometimes in relationship as well, you know, you know, when you were younger, probably the man or even the woman, they may have a six-pack, well-built, carved chest and all these kind of things. And a woman, you know, she may have a Coca-Cola shape and a face like a doll, you know. And as time moves on, things changes, all kind of thing. Probably she become impregnated. Probably he end up in a situation, you know, and, you know, they gain weight. And you know, and the spouse tell, and this is you with a little level of insecurity. Oh gosh, look how fat I get, let me try to lose some weight. Baby, how I looking? And you find I looking, you know. And then, you know, if the spouse would say, watch now, it really don't matter to me, you know, because I don't love you because you gain weight or not. I love you for you, right? And when you hear your husband or your spouse telling you these things, what they are simply telling you is, yo, I want you to be free. I don't want you to think that you have to imprison yourself to prove anything to me or to anybody else. I want you to be free. I want you to enjoy who you are, and I love you just the way you are. Whether you're big, you're thin, you're fat, you're short, you're small, you know, it's not your appearance I love, but I love the you that is within. You know, that being said, even, you know, some of us who would say, who me, I don't want a relationship, I want to be free. Me want a relationship, I want to be free. Me want no children, I want to be free. Not you don't want no children, you want to be free. Not you want a relationship, you want to be free. I don't want no children because I want freedom. I don't want to be in a relationship, committed relationship, because I want freedom. Right? Because not because you have children, not because you have kids, not because you're in a relationship, children and kids same thing. Not because you're in a relationship, it doesn't mean that you are not free. Right? So don't mix up not being responsible with freedom.
And a lot of persons do that.
And plenty of us mix up not being responsible with freedom. Right? So freedom, it comes with being responsible as well. Right? And true freedom, you know, really comes when you reach in that space and you're being you and you're doing you without the intentional behavior to offend or hurt or bring harm to anybody, whether they are or anything or environment. You know, so some people feel, you know, I at peace and I happy and at the inconvenience of the environment or other people. Then the truth of the matter, you are not at peace. You know, you are not free. You are just a bully. You know, because being free is something that is personal, right? That comes within oneself by accepting who you truly are. You know, so when you see like artists, you know, and they want to express, artists, musicians, painters, even poets, public speakers and these things, you know, and they stand up and you find the way how they dress or the new type of music they're singing or the way how they express themselves. You know, we look at it as being who them real queer and them this, but they have reached that stage of understanding where it comes to be free. They're free, so they express themselves. You'll see a designer dress something real awful cuskel, you know, and me like other, and I would never wear that. And some of us, that shoes in matching with the handbag and it in matching with this and it in matching with that, you know. But while you studying how this person in matching and this matching, that person in his or her own self, they are free. They are free from other people who try to contaminate their vibration. They become free because they are living what they are comfortable with, what they, you know, they have no limit to their reach or to their imagination, you know, where they don't need approval to be who they are, you know, and this shows us a high level of this individual being free, you know. And I'm not saying that I don't have to, if I'm like in a relationship, for example, I don't have to ask you to go out. It's not, you know, that is a whole different. As I said before, it have a lot to do with respect. right? So, you know, so we as a people, you know, these are the things we need to or the level we need to take ourselves to, you know, that level of being free and not looking for freedom.
Or pretending to be free.
Right? Because once we're looking for freedom, we are just living in a pretensive world. Right? Because once our mind not at that level, we will always be bounded. We will always be in a situation where we trying to prove something or looking for approval from other people. You know, and so with things like that, one needs to sit down and start to examine or re-examine his or herself. One start to sit down and start to look for who they truly are and what makes them who they are. You know, you would see people who have reached a stage, you know, where they have a well-paid job. The job paying them superb. And all of a sudden, you would hear, I'm leaving this work, or I left this work, or I just leave this work. You know, and you would understand, boy, you leave this job, this well-paying job, and you leave this job, you know, and that's simply because this person is not at peace. You know, they're not comfortable, they're not free. And then you will find they're going to do something that pays financially less than what they were making. And when you look at them, they're happy. You know, they're contented, they're happy. You know, they ain't had a person over their head and trying to fight in this rat race, you know, that society has created for us. And all these things would cause us to be imprisoned, right? All these things that cause us to accept freedom, you know, because we lack the true understanding of what it is to be or to become free, you know, which is letting go from this physical output where we trying to live to the expectation and to prove things to a next person who really don't care. The truth of the matter, they don't even care about you, really and truly. You know, and they set this bar, you know, that we try to live up to, you know, to be accepted in society, right? And when we really examine ourselves and think, we achieve all the materialistic things we could think about, but we're still not happy. You know, we ain't happy, we ain't contented because, you know, we're not really and truly free of this mental chain, this mental blockage, you know. We are not free, right? Which some of us, which leads some of us to fall into the stage, and according to this great Nigerian musician, you know, one of his, I can't say one of his, you know, because, well, I could say one of his, but he have a song, or he had a song, or he has a song that he speaks about zombie, you know, and when we becomes prisoner, mental prisoners, we automatically become zombie. Why? Because we have a brain and we doing self think. You know, we have eyes and we doing self use it to see. You know, we have ears and we cannot even self hear. You know, we becomes program. So we're not going outside the box. We are total zombies. You know, we know something is not in the right stepping, we know something that is wrong or can be wrong, and instead of we think, just because the mass or who we tell ourselves are mighty and powerful, and they say, do this, we run and we do this. You know, for example, you might be working, for example, you may be working in a job, and instead of we be reactive, we becomes proactive. You know, and when we becomes proactive, just because the job say to do X, that is all we doing, and we're not coming outside of it and deal with, you know, according to the situation. There would be flexibility. At had a time, you know, I went to pick up one of my son from school, you know, myself and my wife. So, you know, I park at the side of the road, and that day, you're not supposed to park on that side of the road. But where that school is located, there are many schools there, and a lot of cars would come and pull at the side between, let me say, 1:45 to probably 2:30. So they would pull at the side to wait for their children or child, you know, because there's a lot of school. So, you know, they pull at the side to allow the traffic to continue. So while I was there, a car, a jeep, police jeep, you know, drive up next to me. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So you ain't see the signs, they said no parking. I said, good day, officer. Yes, I see the sign, but I ain't staying here. I just come to pick up my son. My wife went in the school to collect him, and I would be leaving. And she said, what are you trying to tell me? You can't respect the law? You can't see the law and the rule and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yes, but within the law, there are flexibility, right? It's not, I ain't come here to park up, I ain't out of my car, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. And the, you know, the engine, it's still idle and all this kind of thing, you know. My wife just going there. You know, you're seeing, and then cars pulling up and all kind of thing in the back and all kind of thing. I said, this is a school street. So it's not that breaking the law, but I'm just waiting for somebody, you know, if you could just give me a little time to, you know. And this woman, she was so adamant that you're breaking the law, and the law says so, and no, you can't park there, in an extremely arrogant way, you know. And I just said, well, okay, officer, and I drove off. Clearly, she is a zombie. Clearly, she operates in the capacity of being a zombie. You know, because naturally, you know, somebody speak to you and they explain this and they understand it. You know, there's flexibility where you would give in a little and say, well, okay, well, I will give you a little 10 minutes here, and, you know, then you will have to leave because we're trying to, whatever the case may be. You know, but all she know, the law said that, or they tell she that, and it's that she do it. No flexibility, you know. And so, you know, she gets so caught up with the whole system, and she being one of those who have accepted freedom, that she became a zombie. You know, she had brains and she just couldn't, because, you know, this is what they say and this is what I'm doing, with not even self-processing it and thinking, well, hey, there's another way. And this way, you know, it's probably wrong or probably harsh. And then don't do some self-examining. And, you know, plenty people can testify to that they meet people like that. You tell them X, that's all they're doing. You know, for example, they may tell them, hey, let's have a piece of paper on the ground there. You will just pick it up and throw it in the bin. They will see a paper, they will see a bottle, they will see some wrapper, and they ain't picking up none of these things. They will just pick up the paper and they throw it in the bin. So and leave everything there, and you now would have to tell them, well, pick up the paper, you could have pick up all them kind of thing, you know. but they didn't tell them that. So they just programmed to operate in that capacity. You know, so from accepted freedom, you know, we have transcended and we have go into the stage of being a zombie. You know, we're not focusing, we're not thinking, and we're not operating, and we're not trying to be free. You know, we're not trying to work towards becoming free. All we're focusing on is, this is what they tell me to do, and this is what I do. Or this is what society accepts, whether or not I approve of it. But in order for me to fit in, and in order for me to be, or for it to be feasible or accepted by society, I really and truly need to, you know, do what they say. Or try to blend in so I could look cool, or I could be in the swing, or whatever terms, new terms that I have now. You know, I'm not as young, and I don't have that kind of young crew to use modern days term that they have now, hip or hop or whatever they want to call it and say. You know, and this is because we accept freedom, and we accept the reality on how to be free. You know, how not to live a life of trying to please people without pleasing ourselves. You know, and if we please them, we say, because, you know, we go say, buy free, I just do what I want and I just please myself. But sometimes, you know, we do these things at the inconvenience of others. And once you start to do this thing at the convenience of others, you're not truly free. Because if you think that you have to hurt or bully people to become free, then you're still far away from free. You know, becoming free is like receiving salvation. It's personal. It's personal. You know, when one understands where he's at, you know, and where he would like to be and how he would get there, and understand that my life ain't based on Tom opinion or on Michelle expectation or I had to try to fit in there and thing. You know, you will start to see now things start to move differently with you. Things that we used to hot up we head on to try to get this, to try to prove this point. We would realize that, you know what, this is not really relevant. I really actually don't need to do this to be accepted. It's either you like me or not. You know, I don't need to sit down and dress up in a particular way for people to approve what I'm doing. I don't need to do that. I don't need to put on no set of jewels and no set of gold, or put on a shirt and tie or a jacket for people to see me and to approve of me. You know, if I have to do these things to get approval, then I am not free. You know, I becomes a prisoner to the world of vanity. You know, physically I could go where I want, almost, you know, and come back or talk, you know, to who I want or whatever the case. But mentally, I am not free. And once we cage ourselves mentally, you know, we cannot really grow spiritually, right? Because in this, what we consider this freedom, you know, it obstructs our spiritual growth. Because now we think that I don't want to go to church, or I don't want to go to the synagogue, or I don't want to go to this temple this Sunday or this Thursday, you know. But if I miss 3 Sundays, you know, what they go say, boy, what the people go say. You know, so, you know, we still imprisonment. And there are plenty way that we are imprisoned. You know, so it's not just about the physical aspect of being imprisoned with chain and these things. It's something mental. You know, something mental. Hence the reason why we are continuous being told a mind, it's a terrible thing to waste. So instead of we want to fight to have freedom, we need to push for equal rights and justice instead of freedom. We could fight personally within ourselves to be free or to become free. But if it's something like that somebody giving you, we're not accepting freedom, but we're accepting equal rights and justice. You know, because being free, as I said before, is something that is personal. It's you letting go and taking off these chains, these mental chains that colonialism or society has placed in our head, making me think that we need to do all these sorts of things to be accepted. You know, hence the reason why we would find people who would leave the city, would leave the fast life, would leave all the wealth and the riches and go somewhere extremely remote. You know, and when you look at them, they are happy, they are contented. You know, and that is because they have truly understand what it is to become free. So, my listeners, my special listeners, my supporters, all those that who have been listening to me, you know, continue to listen. You know, continue to listen with an open mind, you know, because by you becoming open and opening your mind is where growth continues or starts. You know, and I would extend my utmost thanks, I would extend my utmost gratitude. If you all have any questions or want to leave a remark or make a comment, you can do so in the comment area and stuff like that. If you have any questions or you will have anything that you would like to hear a different light on or would like to be enlightened on, you know, you can state it in the comments. If, you know, for some unseen reason we don't want this public thing that you're putting up something on for everybody to see, because we might feel a little comfortable asking a question, or we might ask a question that we may tell ourselves might be offensive to others. You know, you can personally inbox me and I would respond to everyone as soon, or almost everyone, as soon as possible. You know, so you can ask questions and let us have a conversation now. Let us you know, put it out there and let us look at it and let us get into it. You know, and so continue, feel free, and continue to watch my live and stuff like that. You know, I will also be putting up little clippings on the rest of platforms, you know, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You know, so continue to give me that support, lend that support, and let's make this happen. Let's make enlightening people, you know, that who looking for enlightenment. Because what I'm saying, I have accepted it would not be for everybody, right? And I respect that. But what I'm doing is I'm putting it out there for those who are willing to see something in a different way. You know, this is the opportunity that they would have. For those who are looking for clarity, this is the opportunity that they would have. So thank you again continue to watch, continue to support, and continue to
like, follow, share.
You all hear that? So continue to like, continue to follow, and continue to share. Peace out.